Grooverini's just doing a few technical things. I'll be with you shortly. How are you? The beautiful people are rolling in. Hi, Ruth. G'day, Blue. First, go, she says. Go. Oh, hang on a sec. G'day, Groovers. Wowzerinis. Francesca and I and a few other peeps have been hanging out over at Ickard Mills. It's been highly entertaining. Funny as hell the chat was. And I thought I'd do an after party. Hey, Wake the Truck Up America. Francesca. Hi, Cement Shoes. I think I've got everyone so far. Welcome to anyone arriving. And today, Smooth Criminal, we went over the 500 subscriber mark. Woohoo! 502, I think. The last time I looked. Now that I've said it, 2 people will leave and put me back under 500 again. That's the way it works. On these YouTube streets. Grab a mega pint. I'm on to my 3rd one. Woo, I'm on holidays. Yay. Oh my God, I was in Mel's. What do you mean, oh my God? What do you mean? Oh my God, I was in Mel's. This is Tori on 3 rums. Well, 2 rums. Now moving on to my 3rd. I know, it's exciting, isn't it? 500. Yay! Thank you to all the subscribers. And I hope some of the new subs join us this evening. We've got a bit to cover. We'll be live for a couple of hours. Should have cleaned these before I went live. I hope you join us and feel comfortable to say hi. I know that the small chats might be intimidating, but have you noticed sometimes people say, like their channel says there's 1,000 people watching, but it's only the same 12 people chatting? It's no different here. Join the convo. How long and how many years have we been saying on this channel and my other channel? I thought Mel ended her live. Is she still live? She was doing stuff hours ago. How long has she been cooking? She was making jelly for a trifle. Streamed 20 minutes ago. Oh, wait, she's done another one, the crayfish cob loaf dip and trifle update. She's busy. I don't have to do a thing for Christmas. We're going out for lunch. I can't wait. Keeping it on the lowdown. But yeah, I hope newbies rock in and say good day. Very friendly community here. And funny too. But for how long have we been talking about what's it going to take for the madness on social media platforms to stop? Well, we've pitted the idea of somebody suing, and even this morning, this same day, when I was driving to work 8 hours ago, or I don't know how long it was now, 10 hours ago, saying a lawsuit would be awesome, but you need someone who's got the cash to do it. And lo and behold, I get home, Ickard Mel goes live. He's got a little 20, it's the idiot on TikTok, Ruth. He's got a little 20-minute video that I am going to be playing a bit later on, summing it up. But a lot of us were in his live having a great time. It was great fun. How's Serenity B? And I wish the same for you too. Merry Christmas to everyone in case I forget, because, you know, the rums are kicking in. I'm getting in early. Cheers, Groovers. I've got to finish that no sugar weird Coke from the other night. So, yeah, Ick and Mel, once again, his team onto it. Mind you, there's so much information already out about this now. But you fell asleep. Well, chat was a riot. And it might be here too, because, you know, it might get to a point that I'm not even capable of speaking. So I did a bit of a recce to see if I could get the actual proceedings to share with you, but I think Ick and Mel shows them on the video. We'll look at it in a minute. But I'm not paying to get it, but there's still enough information on this here screen just to get you up to speed. I will. You're loving my top. It's actually a little dress, but thank you, Francesca. It's a little party dress. I'll see if I can expand this a bit more. I don't know if I can because it's like an insert. Oh, it can. All right. Woohoo. So, yes, we have a TikToker being sued for an absolutely ridiculous series of literally over 100, I think, TikTok videos blaming an associate professor from the University of Idaho, whose name is Rebecca Schofield, of plotting the murder of the 4 Idaho college students, getting Jack D to carry out the murders for her. And it was a great live. I figured I'd just be like an after party. Maybe I should have put that, a Nick and Mel after party. No, I mean, look, I'm going to be stretching the friendship. I did give him a super chat, so I don't feel bad about using his video. And I've played his stuff before, and he's lovely. He doesn't strike. He wants the info out there as much as we do. Hey, Joey Wilson. Good to see you, gorgeous. So Rebecca Schofield's a University of Idaho professor, and this TikToker called Ashley Gilliard, who is nothing short of cray-cray, and I'm being polite at the moment. See how I go when this third rum sinks in. Has been going, doing these little TikTok videos, blatantly accusing of Rebecca Schofield of plotting the murder of the 4 college kids and getting Jack D to do it for her. And we have watched a lot of videos, so my brain is a little bit fried of this TikToker. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, for sure. But she's even gone and done a little TikTok video, like she did several, saying, I'm surprised I'm not being sued. And then she's obviously received the lawsuit, and now she's like, oh, I am being sued. But she's still going on about this Rebecca Schofield. Now, interestingly, in all of the videos, the TikTok clips of hers that we watched, she postulated a couple of theories. The one I can't get past is the whole point of this, the whole point of these 4 kids losing their lives was, well, there were 2 plots. I'll give you the 2 that stood out the most in her rantings, and there were many rantings. The first one was the plot was devised between Rebecca and Jack D to allow Jack D to pursue his dream of playing tennis again. Let that sink in for a minute. In fact, I'm going to take a sip of my rum while it sinks in. I'm officially dead. Of all the theories that are going around on social media platforms about these murders, this one has to be the most insane. Good luck with your lawsuit, Ashley. The second theory that stood out as one of the most prominent, and like I said, she rants and rambles and says all sorts of crazy stuff. And of course, she's constantly blaming Spirit. Spirit told her this stuff, and so did the cards. And her cards don't look like a standard tarot deck. They look like Spider-Man collectible cards, if you ask me. She kept blaming, she's going to throw Spirit. And I swear to God, Why do they say spirit? Who's spirit? I mean, there's a lot of people on YouTube alone whose spirit talks to. Is there just one spirit? Because if there is, spirit's very busy. But there was also a second theory she had, which was Rebecca Schofield, this married professor, had a lesbian experience with Kaylee, and Kaylee decided to pack up and move to Texas without her. Oh, and by the way, Spirit, this particular woman's spirit, unbelievably homophobic. I mean, she is, clearly, but she uses spirit as like a shield for her own homophobic views. So I'm too cheap to buy the full pleadings and so on, but this is a little summary. But yeah, it's Schofield v. Ashley Gillard. So Ashley Gillard has been putting all kinds of videos up on TikTok, a series accusing Schofield of participating in the murders. And also there's the alleged romantic involvement. Unfortunately, this summary doesn't mention the tennis allegations either. So we've got the law firm Stoll Reeves representing Rebecca Schofield, and counsel have not yet appeared for the defendant. I continued on my quest for the pleadings because, you know, the lawyer in me has to go down these sorts of, hey, Mel, I think you just messaged me. Good to see you, Grover. Oh, and thank you to Aussie Trisha. We were all over in Ickett Mel's having a great time, and Mel flicked me the link to Ickett Mel's live and said that Aussie Trisha had spotted it and asked her to pass it on. Thanks for passing it on, Grover. And thank you, Aussie Trisha, for thinking of us. So, yeah, I did keep trying to find, you know, the legal documents, and came to another website that's also got information about it on here, but not much more than what we just saw. But essentially, it does go into a tad more detail. So Rebecca Schofield has filed a personal injury, assault, battery, defamation lawsuit against the TikToker, Ashley Gillard. It was filed in the U.S. District Court's Idaho District Court. The judge overseeing the case is Raymond Edward Patricio Jr. The case status is pending. It was filed on the 21st of December. I'm assuming that assault, battery, and defamation and personal injury, they all come, like, there's lots of different types of personal injury claims. Like, it could be for a motor vehicle accident. So they have sort of subcategories, I'm assuming. And assault, battery, and defamation are all put together. And then there's a bit more about the judge. The plaintiff's Rebecca Schofield, the falsely accused professor, and defendant Ashley Gillard, and then the plaintiff's attorney. And in fact, Ashley was going, she needs 3. Clearly, she doesn't know much about how the law works. Of course there's going to be 3. This could set a precedent, guys. Like, this is kind of exciting. And then the court documents, I tried to download the summons and the cover sheet and so on, but I had to pay, so I didn't go any further. And then, oh, hang on a sec. No, same thing I went to before. So you can just see a bit of document information there, including the filing fee of $402 filed by Rebecca Schofield. So that was all I could bring up, or I could find, without having to buy something. And I'm pretty sure Ickett Mel has already got those docs anyway. Just check and chat. In the kitchen, Mel. Yeah, I saw you've done a couple of lives. I noticed, I think it was right before I left work. I think you were going to make some trifle or something, and then Ruth popped in earlier and always popped in and said she'd been watching you, and I noticed you did another one too. Looking at my scrunchie makes you wonder if you've all ever Googled Jason Momoa in a scrunchie. It's glorious. No, I haven't, and I'm not going to. I don't like him. I'm probably in the minority there, but go Jason. Go Jason. Fran, can you see me? I think she said hi when she came in, Blue. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't. Have you seen him without his facial hair? Mm. I mean, I went to tall, dark, and hilarious. But Jason, no. Anyway, I then did a bit more Googling because, I had to do my research. I can't just play Ikad Mel's video without doing my own bit of work. So I looked up the Idaho state legislation to find out what the penalty is for defamation. And I'm a bit upset, guys. I'm a bit disappointed. I was sort of picturing her potentially, if she's found guilty of, being locked away for 30 years, because we do need a precedent. But it was a bit disappointing when I looked up the penalty. I'm not going to lie. Morgan, you do have to have scruff for sure. All your favourite Aussies in one place. Hello, Groover, and our favourite token Aussie now here too. So, yeah, the punishment for libel, which includes defamation, slander and libel, essentially both different types of defamation. One's in print, one's in word, and this girl's done both. Every person who willfully and with a malicious intent to injure another publishes or procures to be published any libel is punishable by fine not exceeding $5,000 or imprisonment in the county jail not exceeding 6 months. That's a bit disappointing. If you ask me, what do you guys feel about that? Do you think she should be locked up? Well, she can be. Unfortunately, only for 6 months max. But then, I don't know, is 6 months enough of a deterrent? Like, if she does go down for this and she spends her time, well, not at Her Majesty's leisure, as we say in the Commonwealth countries when people are sent off to jail, but I don't know, if she is convicted and goes off for 6 months, do you think people might go, oh, we might actually listen to all the requests from the Moscow PD and experts, and, in Australia, we've got requests from our cops to not put stuff out on YouTube relating to the Queensland killings, which I was going to cover tonight, but it's very serious, that one. And I'm feeling merry. It's the first day of holidays and I've had a couple of mega pints. So, but I reckon it does seem lenient for sure. But then, are the you sleuthers going to suddenly go, hang on a sec, 6 months? That's actually quite a long time. I don't know if I want to be in the prison and see what the prison is like. I might stop being a wanker. Do you reckon? I don't know. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, especially when this girl is blatantly, like, she's not, and you'll see Ikad Mel's video in a minute, she's not, and that'll get you up to speed on the story too, Mel. But basically, there's a Tik Tokker who's accused a professor of the Idaho University, a married woman called Rebecca Schofield, of plotting to murder and carrying out she got Jack D allegedly to do the dirty deeds. And there's two stories that this girl's putting out. One is she was in love with Kaylee, and Kaylee was ready to pack up her bags and move to Texas. The other theory, which I can't stop laughing about it. I mean, I'm officially dead with this one, is she wanted to make Jack D's dream come true. And Jack D's dream, apparently, according to Ashley Gillard, is to play tennis again. They put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, I think 6 months is a long time in prison. But will it deter these people? Because the cops keep asking them to stop doing this, and have actually said in one of their media releases, in several now, that they have no qualms pursuing charges against these dolts if they don't refrain. But still, they soldier on. She belongs in a cell with Brooks. Well, I don't know if it was you, Wake the Truck Up, or someone else, but in the chat, I think it was you, we were laughing about her getting Daryl Brooks to represent her. She doesn't care either. You'll see her in a minute. In fact, let's do her next. Oh, no, one more thing before we do that. In my researching, this was a question that was coming up a lot, or comments that were coming a lot in Icked Mel's live, saying that TikTok should be sued as well. And you can take that further and say, you know, YouTube, Facebook, all of them. And I have actually found the section of legislation. We can talk through that if you are so inclined, but I imagine you won't be because you're not all nerdy lawyers like me. But can social media sleuths be sued for wrongful accusations? And the article talks about how social media users are running amok with rumours about who committed the gruesome crime. And it says, it's possible that those who are publicly spreading rumours and naming innocent people as suspects in the case could face legal consequences, whereas companies like Facebook, TikTok and Twitter are protected by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. And it essentially states that platforms can't be held liable for what people pretty much do on their platforms. And it goes on to explain, you know, the logically, like it would be near impossible to sue the platforms just because of the size of them and the number of people that use them and so on. However, Matthew Bergman, who's a lawyer who represents people harmed by social media platforms, and I'm actually going to contact this guy because I'm doing a video at the moment on this very topic, and I reckon he'll be interesting to possibly even have on the channel, have a little chat with him. But he went on to say that the nature and scope of this section of the Communications Decency Act is actually being reevaluated, and there's a hearing in the Supreme Court in February on this particular issue. So there may be a new judgment that says that platforms can be sued as well. Join me, Blue. It's so fascinating. I love it. But yeah, I'm going to contact this dude and see if he'd be up for an interview. And at the very least, I'd like to find out what this case is that's being heard in February so we can watch that, because this is my area. This is what I am addicted to. And then the four victims, Ethan Chapin, 20, Zaina Knodel, 20, Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, and Madison Mogan, 21, had or still have public social media accounts, allowing internet sleuths to analyse their every post on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and other platforms for potential clues that could expose the murderer. Oh, yes, yes, they do. So sad. Still keep looking at these kids, and it's like, if you could wind the clock back, God, there's full-on porn things on this side of this article. What is this article? You know, if you could wind the clock back and bring these kids back, because it's just so devastating. Justice Jane, hello and welcome. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, most psychics do say allegedly for entertainment purposes, but this woman is adamant that she's right, and we'll show you Ikad Mel's video next, because I do go down rabbit warrens and look at legislation and all of that sort of stuff, and you guys may not want that deep a dig. Yeah, it's terrible. It's so sad, isn't it, Francesca? If we could only wind the clock back and save them. While the public's digging may be helpful in some cases, it can be harmful when innocent people are wrongly accused. And there have been plenty of people associated with the quadruple murder victims, whether they be friends, exes, or roommates, who have been named on these platforms and subject to harmful rumours. Some users have opted to use nicknames for these people they suspect of killing the victims, while others have used their full names and posted photos of them on public forums or in private groups with thousands of like-minded users. I mean, we're seeing this happening on the daily, and it's growing. It's like a plague. Moscow police, and we've looked at this several times, even began a section of their regularly updated press release called Rumour Control, quashing rumours about the crime, victims or perpetrators they've spread online. They're also keeping an ongoing list of individuals who they've ruled out as suspects. Officials have warned that law enforcement officers have been monitoring rumours on social media and noted in a December the 9th press release that anyone engaging in threats or harassment, whether in person, online or otherwise, needs to understand they could be subjecting themselves to criminal charges. And as we have said here many, many times, bring it on. Bring it on. I've got way more research about the defamation laws, but I think we can save that for another show. Just repeating, in Idaho, their state legislature, every person who willfully and with a malicious intent to injure another publishes or procures to be published any libel is punishable by fine not exceeding $5,000 or imprisonment in the county jail not exceeding 6 months. Interestingly, in Idaho, I mean, this chick is blatantly accusing Rebecca Schofield of murdering or plotting the murder, and she blatantly accuses Jack D of doing it. But an interesting thing that I found about Idaho too, with their defamation laws, which is kind of quirky, is that the Idaho Supreme Court has held that even if somebody implies but doesn't outright say something defamatory, they can also be sued. There was a lawsuit brought by a former teacher, James Verity, against USA Today. And now it can be implied. It doesn't even have to be like clearly stated. So that was kind of quirky. I'm just flicking through all the little bits I found that I was like, oh, this is really interesting. We've already looked at Section 230, which is the one that's been considered in a case in February next year, where at the moment social media platforms are protected and are unable to be sued, but that's been reviewed. So we'll keep an eye on that. And I found this really cool document that I'd really like to go through possibly at the end if we still want things to talk about. Merry Christmas to anyone walking in, and so there's heaps of really good information like that. Someone's put this together. It's an infographic, which I'm a fan of because it kind of spells everything out for us simple folk. But I mean, just this part of it. Internet users in the US, 239 plus million. Daily Facebook users worldwide, 500 million plus. Daily tweets, 340 million per day. I don't care about Yelp. Even here, like looking at other countries, in Thailand, their Computer Crimes Act holds bloggers and ISPs criminally liable if someone using their service or site criticises the Thai royal family. In Turkey, you can't criticise the founder of the Turkish Republic or disparage Turkishness. The Turkish government has banned YouTube several times for hosting videos in violation of these laws. So it's an interesting document. But yeah, if we want to, hey, Lindy Lou, if you guys are interested in this, like it's a really good, actually, I'll drop the link. So this CDA 230, that's a section at the moment that says that that only third parties on social media platforms can be sued. And there is going to be a case in, I'm going to drop this link. I'm an Australian, Justice Jane. Have a good nanonat, Mel. You deserve it. Yeah, I'm an Australian. I'm in Tasmania, Justice Jane. That's a link to it if anyone wants to have a look at it. But this is legislation protecting social media platforms, but there is a trial a case in February where it's being reviewed. But it's kind of interesting. Like this infographic is pretty cool. So yeah, at the moment, the law prevents websites, blogs, and forums from being held responsible for the speech of their users. So if anyone is in a chat saying, you know, TikTok should be sued as well, just say it. Not according to CDA 230, it can't. And then they have the section of the Act. What if this wasn't in place? And it talks about what would happen. Like Facebook, Twitter, Google, Reddit could all be sued every time a user crossed the line. Well, you wouldn't want that to happen to you right now because users are crossing the line in the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, every day just with this Idaho case. I suspect that they'll be very lawyered up to stop this from changing. And then it talks about the legal costs of it, monitoring ISPs, looking at other countries like we just looked at. Then there's these statistics about how many people are using the internet, and you know, Facebook, 500 million people plus per day on Facebook, 239 million internet users in the US alone. And it goes on and on. But it's pretty interesting with some good links at the end too, references, sources. But yeah, if you're like me, you'll end up reading them all, and I won't go into too much detail. Hi, Miss Kay. You're in Buffalo Mountain, Tennessee. Well, hello. Good to have you here. My beautiful sister dropped some flowers off for me earlier on today when I got home from work. My holiday started, and my beautiful sister had dropped I just want to say thank you again. I'll just let them know I'm on the YouTubes. Beautiful big bunch of sunflowers. I got the best sissy in the whole wide world. And in 13 sleeps, my amazing sissy and my beautiful niece, her daughter, are off to Singapore. All right, I'm back. So I'm going to put Iked Mel's video up. It goes for about 20 minutes, but we'll be offering some commentary, and I'm going to just drop the link to. Don't go to Iked Mel now. Oh, well, I'm dropping the link. Open it up in click on it, right click on it in chat, and open it up in a new window, and then go over there and watch it and give him a view and hit a thumbs up for him. But hang out with me, Groovers, if you can, if you want to. But do whatever you want. I'm not going to be bossy. It's a rum. Alrighty. Yeah, great shopping in Singapore. So this tells the story of Ashley Gillard, who has been sued by Rebecca Schofield, who's a professor at Idaho University, for essentially not even inferring, blatantly accusing. You'll watch it here. Thanks, Blue. Loyal. Oh, I just gave you a little thumbs up. I'm on the screen. Loyal. Yeah, who doesn't even infer, just blatantly accuses this professor of being behind the Idaho4 murders and getting Jack D to do the deed. And a big shout out to Ikemel and his team. On top of it, as always, guys, you've got to lift your game. If you find something out there, you send me a message, you email me at Smooth Criminal. I've checked my email earlier, and nobody had mentioned it to me and said, hey, Tor, check this out. Aussie Trisha, though, did flick it to Mel and asked her to pass it on to me. I appreciate that, Aussie Trisha. Thank you. And thank you, Mel, for passing it on. So here we go, Grooveroonies. If you've got no idea what I'm talking about, this explains everything.
So I spoke too soon. This is the case request for filing for a lawsuit against me from Rebecca Schofield. I'm not stopping, so let's just start there. But two, this is giving us information about what her alleged alibi is for the night of the murder. And now I have information about what she's saying her alibi is. I'm going to dig deep into that too. Also, why does she need 3 lawyers for me?
Oh my God, I have been muted. I should have warned you all. This woman is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Francesca, thank you. Yes, you all need to brace yourselves. This video is self-explanatory, but essentially this woman on the screen right now is a TikToker called Ashley Gillard. She's been sued by a professor at the Idaho University because she has been blatantly putting out videos, and I'm talking heaps of videos, on TikTok, accusing Rebecca Schofield of being behind the murders of the Idaho4 and plotting and getting Jack D to carry out the murders. But this video sort of sums it up, Blue, so I think you'll work it out. And yeah, look at where I paused it. Crazy eyes. It's all right. We're kicking off again. But Blue, honestly, don't feel like you're behind. This explains all of it. We're kicking off with the TikToker who's being sued for defamation.
3 lawyers. Why does she need such a big defense team?
So you go down, lady. That's why she's got 3 lawyers.
If she's so innocent, why does she need all of that for me? You can screenshot this, but this is her complaint and those are her lawyers.
Oh, she very kindly shows it for us. I can't zoom in anymore, but it looks like paragraph 1 is a summary of the murders, but you can see there, United States District Court for the District of Idaho, Rebecca Schofield, that's the professor. She's the plaintiff. She's suing Ashley Gillard, the defendant.
You can Google that document. You can Google.
And this is wackadoo Ashley Gillard right here on the screen. Oops. Will I get sued for defamation? No, because truth is a defense. And what I said stands.
Schofield versus Gillard or Ashley Gillard, Marcel, Idaho, and it'll pull up. Why does she need 3 lawyers for little O / big O for real, me? Now I'm going to use my brain to see.
I think she's a bit excited that there's 3 lawyers. You should be scared, lady. You should be scared. Be afraid.
What's coming from this?
Make sure you watch this.
I mean, this is what sort of, sorry, Ikadmel, this is what a dipshit this woman is. She kept saying, I haven't been sued for what I've been saying. And then she gets sued and she does another TikTok video saying, look, I am being sued. Here's the summons and the pleadings, everyone. Like, deluded much? Thank you. Thank you. Please do testify on my behalf. We sat through, Francesca and Jay Lord and I, and Wake the Truck Up America sat through a couple of hours of this lady's cray-cray, or at least an hour. But it was funny. Chat was hilarious.
This entire video, because the details are just insane with these, how far these online sleuths, tarot card people, psychics, crime solver, whatever it is, are willing to go to accuse innocent people just randomly, just concocting stuff. What's up, Tik Tokker? And there was a big thing going on. Jazz brought this to my attention. I went online to get the actual court documents. To
shout out to Ikadmel and Jazz for bringing this story to everyone's attention.
Verify this. And apparently this is a University of Idaho professor that is claiming defamation against this TikTok star that's been allegedly, I guess, accusing this person or coming for this person, saying that this professor has some sort of involvement with the murders. And so let's get through this together. It's 12 pages long. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. So this is Rebecca Schofield versus Ashley Gillard. And part 1 here, introduction. In November 2022, 4 students at the University of Idaho were murdered at a home near the campus. The tragedy has garnered attention and inflicted great sorrow throughout the university, the state, and the country. Defendant Ashley Gillard, a purported internet...
I'm just going to stop there. I love that that's how they started it too. The tragedy has garnered attention and inflicted great sorrow throughout the university, the state, and the country. I love that they've put that at the start. They're putting the victims first, just like we do here. Hey, Plumey, welcome. Like, I'm really impressed that they did that. Bit of humanity at the start of the pleadings. It's really lovely to see that.
Sleuth decided to use the community's pain for her online self-promotion. She has posted many videos on TikTok falsely stating the plaintiff, Rebecca Schofield, a professor at the university, participated in the murders because she was romantically involved with one of the victims. Gillard's statements are false. Professor Schofield did not participate in the murders, and she had never met any of the victims, let alone entered a romantic relationship with them. Gillard's videos have been viewed millions of times, amplifying Gillard's online persona at the expense of Professor Schofield's reputation. Professor Schofield now sues Gillard for defamation. And
look, I just want to say, I'm so sad for Rebecca Schofield and what has happened to her and her husband, her family and friends. But I'm so grateful that she's in a position to sue this woman, because we've talked about this for years. I mean, we're talking way back when the root checks were being put through so much online that unfortunately for this to stop, people are going to have to start suing, because it's just spiraling out of control. And we need a precedent. So, yeah, it's terribly sad that this woman's been put through this, like Rebecca and her husband, and she may have kids, her family, friends. The uni could be covering costs. Oh, I will, Blue. I always watch Heels. Don't you worry about that. She often pops on because I have like autoplay on YouTube, and when I'm driving, it bumps onto the next thing, and I can hear her slamming him again. And I do have quite a chuckle. But yeah, I'll never watch his channel. I won't give him a view. But I'm a big fan of the clip channels. They spare us giving the idiots they're calling out any views. Plus, they summarize it neatly for us. And Hills is so sarcastic and funny as well. All right, let's get back to this. This is kind of interesting reading. But yeah, once again, I'm so sorry that Rebecca Schofield's been put through this. But I'm also stoked that she is suing, because we have asked, when will the madness stop, so many times, and the lawsuit thing was going to happen as soon as someone had the money, or she might be being backed by the uni to actually sue, because it's not cheap.
Wow. Number 2, parties. Number 1, plaintiff Rebecca Schofield. Professor Schofield is an individual residing in Idaho. She is an associate professor and the chair of the history department at the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho.
Just on that too, interesting earlier that, in the summons it says that she's never met any of the victims. But there's a key word in this first paragraph here in the parties section where it says the chair of the history department. This tarot reading loony, Ashley Gillard, got the word history. She explains this in one of her TikToks. While she was doing one of her readings, she got, I don't know whether it was a card history, because her cards don't look like the usual tarot cards. Like I said, they look more like a Spider-Man collectible set, but she said she got history, and based on that, she went on to the university website and typed in history, and this is how she found Rebecca Schofield. Yeah, I agree. Jack D definitely needs to sue also. So yeah, what a stretch. She gets a card that says history, or she got the word history. Spirit gave her the word history. She goes onto the Idaho University website and Googles the history, like searches the history department, and gets Rebecca Schofield's name, and that's where all the craziness began. Unbelievable.
Defendant 2, Ashley Gillard, is an individual residing in Texas. She is a TikTok personality who purports to solve crimes online. Wow. 3, jurisdiction and venue. Jurisdiction is proper under 28 U.S.C. 1332 because there is diversity of citizenship and the amount of controversy exceeds $75,000. Oh boy. Venue is appropriate under 28 U.S.C. because Professor Schofield is an Idaho resident and a substantial part of the events giving rise to the claims occurred in Idaho. Number 4, factual allegations. 5, in early morning hours of November 13, 2022, 4 students at the University of Idaho were tragically murdered at the home near the campus. It is a tragedy that has gripped the entire university community forever, affected the students' families, brought tremendous sorrow throughout the state of Idaho, and garnered national media attention. To respect the privacy of the victims and their families, this complainant refers to the victims by their initials KG, MM, XK, and EC. Number 6, Professor Schofield was not in Moscow, Idaho when the murders occurred. Not surprising. Not surprising. I feel like I've gone through this myself with these crazy people online. She and her husband were in Portland, Oregon, visiting friends. They stayed in a hotel checking out in the morning of November 13. After the murders occurred, they drove from Portland to Moscow, a drive of more than 5 hours, arriving after law enforcement officers discovered the murders. 7, Professor.
Now, admittedly, batshit boo-hoo-hoo. I'm just going to come up with different names each time. Started out blatantly accusing Rebecca Schofield and then shifted to say that Rebecca plotted it, but then got Jack to commit the murders, but then goes on to say in another TikTok that Rebecca Schofield was there, watched Jack do the deeds, and then watched him run away into the night. They're massive claims. J-Lord, don't encourage them. You and I Wake the truck up, Francesca. We're all emotionally scarred. Actually, was there someone else from here in there too? That shit, boo-hoo. Yeah, it's the rum talking. Okay, let's put Mel back on for a while. He's making way more sense than I am.
Schofield did not commit or in any way participate in the murders of the 4 students. 8. Professor Schofield has taught at the University of Idaho since January 2016. She became the chair of the history department in July 2021. Number 9, none of the 4 students who were murdered ever took a class from Professor Schofield. Although the University of Idaho is a relatively small university, she does not recall ever meeting any of the students. Number 10.
Major detail there. Doesn't recall ever meeting any of them, even at a small uni. I love 10. Professor Schofield has also never met Ashley Gillard. Well, you're about to.
Professor Schofield has also never met Ashley Gillard. Number 11, Ashley Gillard promotes herself on Amazon and TikTok as an internet sleuth that solves high.
Oh, yes, sorry, before we get the Ashley Gillard background, yes, I was talking about the dirty orgy because that was another thing Lippy Lala was saying in her TikToks is that someone didn't just go in there and murder them. There were, what was the word she used? It had intercourse at the end. There was it penetrative intercourse? Something really weird. She used really weird words. So she was sort of suggesting that they all got it on big time, all of them. The victims, Rebecca, Jack, that all happened first. And it was a plot by the girls to participate in this orgy to save their own lives. This stuff was insane. Seriously, if you've got time tomorrow, if you've got to drive to see family and friends or anything like that, and you've got some time to kill, listen to Iked Mel going through all of her TikTok videos and the stuff she says. It's just, I said right at the start, with an imagination like this, she could have been the world's next J.K. Rowling. She missed her calling. Can you nutshell? Hey? You need to explain this. I don't know what that means. Naked Twister. Oh, I've heard. I'm in the 4chan boards. Yes, yes. Some of them are coming over and leaving comments that are very funny. And some of them are sweet, but I believe they're being very sarcastic. But the guy who called me a dude, well, he's just plain rude. It is a great way to kick off Christmas. It got us all in the festive mood. Even as the TikToks go on and it gets closer to Christmas, the next thing she's got a tree up. Her Christmas tree's up. But there were no decorations on it. And we all started hashtag tree watch. In 4chan, apparently, yes. Yes. Someone put a comment under it. They're like, we were talking about you in 4chan. And I was like, yeah, please don't. And now they're all coming over and leaving messages. Not all of them, some of them. It's really funny. I've never been in 4chan, but I can pick straight away. Even if they're saying nice things, I know straight away where they've come from. Just from the names are all kind of similar, but different. Tree watch was funny. She changes colors, but her tree doesn't. You can read cards. Your poker cards suck. All right, let's get back. Now, what were you talking about up here, though, Blue? I didn't understand. Can you nutshell Iked Mel, please. What's that? Can you nutshell? Huh? Yeah, they were restrained. And in the matter of sexual conduct, they held back fluids. It was Beryl. Tori, a audio empath. Iked Mel. No, it's spelled I-C-K. It's Icked. It's not liked. Can you put in a short sentence, nutshell, what he says? Huh? No. You just blow. Just listen. Dirty. Samadi. Well, no, all the YouTubers that can't pronounce his name, I'm like, it says it's like wicked without a W. Anyway, speaking of, Icked Mel, take the wheel, please.
I profile unsolved murders by consulting tarot cards. Oh no, no. But I'm not surprised because people believe anything online. They'll believe this stuff. And so, wow. Okay, and performing other readings to obtain information about the murders. She has purported to solve murders of musician Kershnick, Curry Ball, aka Takeoff, oh Lord, Janquilla Robinson, Tiffany Valenti, Kevin Samuels, and the November murders at the University of Idaho. Number 12, TikTok is a social media platform through.
Oh, might I add, this chick's got like hundreds of thousands of views, and Icked Mel also went through her chat, because there's a chat on TikTok. And the majority, I mean, there were a few people calling her out saying, you are bananas. And there's but the majority of them are like, you're so good at this. Thank God we have you. This all makes sense. And this is what scares me, guys. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these twerps on these social media platforms. Spirit told me, baby. I've got Uno. I'll read them later. I did a psychic reading for Aphrodite using Cards Against Humanity cards, and I couldn't put it up because it was so filthy, but it was funny.
Which persons can post short videos, typically of no more than 1 or 2 minutes. TikToks primarily are recorded by a person using her own cell phone to record a video and then posting through the person's account on the TikTok platform. Individuals with TikTok accounts can review other people's TikTok accounts, can post comments on various TikToks, and can repost another TikTok user's posts. Number 13, on or about November 22nd, 2022, Gillard began posting TikTok videos about the November murders at the University of Idaho. She asserted that the murderer had some history with one or more of the victims, and that the murderer was someone who previously was involved with one of the victims, possibly an ex. Number 14, on information and belief, Gillard has never been to Moscow, Idaho, or to any other location in Idaho, and that she had no basis to make factual statements about any of the events that had occurred there. You just popping shit out of your head off of them cards and stuff in the spirit box.
Yep, and Spirit told her, and her deck of Spider-Man collectible cards.
Number 15, on or about November 24th, Gillard posted 6 TikTok videos to her account. Ashley is in the book of life, in which she falsely stated that Professor Schofield, the chair of the history department, was responsible for the 4 students' deaths. To the TikToks directly and falsely state that Professor Schofield ordered the execution of 4 students.
Execution. Wow. But here's the key, guys, for defamation. Even though in the state of Idaho, inferring can amount to defamation as well. But the important thing in this sentence or this paragraph is that she directly and falsely stated that Professor Schofield ordered the execution of the 4 students. Hey, Scout. Good to see you, gorgeous. Yeah, directly and falsely. But even if she'd inferred it, she could still be sued for defamation in Idaho. That little interesting quirk I found about the Idaho legislation when it comes to defamation charges. Inference is enough.
Bruh, 3 of the TikToks either falsely implied or directly stated that Professor Schofield had been involved in a relationship with one of the murdered students, KG, which would be Gaelic Gonsalves. Wow, these people have no shame. These people have no kind of like, wow. Number 16, 3 of the TikToks Gillard posted on her website on November 24, 2022 also used Professor Schofield's photo from the University of Idaho website. Upon information and belief, Gillard did not ever receive permission to use Professor Schofield's official university photograph, which I'm not.
This Gillard chick has no shame. She's also, I might add, and look, wear whatever you want, but she's got her tatas on full display in many of these TikToks. And I, like many others, find it kind of weird when people are covering true crime that they're doing it live in a bikini, essentially. I have the same issue with Bailey Sarian, like not for what she wears, but it's never been comfortable for me to watch her talking about gruesome murders while she's putting on makeup. Don't get me wrong, that chick's makeup skills are out of this world, but it's a weird combo for me. But this Ashley Gillard, yeah, she's either wearing a beanie that looks like it's been made out of 83 Doonas, and it's just like this giant beanie on top of her head, and she's rugged up. Clearly the heating isn't on. Or she's wearing next to nothing. Show some respect, Ashley.
Not sure she really needs any. Number 17, Gillard's November 24, 2022 TikToks were not based on any facts or any information known to Gillard. Her statements that Professor Schofield ordered the murders and that Professor Schofield had a relationship with one of the victims are false. Number 18, on the following day, November 25th, 2022, Gillard posted an additional 5 TikTok videos falsely alleging that Professor Schofield ordered and planned the murders of the 4 students. And 3 of the videos, Gillard.
That's an interesting point you make too, J Lord. I saw you mentioning that too in Nick and Mel's chat. And yeah, look, it's been a long time since I studied defamation because I've never actually had to represent anyone in a defamation suit. But I'm pretty sure here in Australia you can't sue for defamation when they're speaking about somebody who's died. But that doesn't mean there may not be another type of lawsuit that they could pursue. I need to have a look into Idaho legislation a bit more because there's clearly pain and suffering going on. But I hope that they can find something in there to sue as well, for sure. I mean, all of the victims' families hopefully can find a way to sue as well.
Falsely stated that Professor Schofield and a student at the University of Idaho, JD, together planned the murders, of the 4 students. Professor Schofield has not met student JD and has not ever had him in a class. She has never partnered with him on anything. She did not partner with him to murder the 4 University of Idaho students. 19, Gillard's November 25th, 2022 TikToks were not based on any facts or any information known to Gillard. Her statements that Professor Schofield partnered with another student or to plan or carry out the murders are false. Number 20, on November 28th, 2022, Gillard posted 6 TikTok videos in which she falsely alleged, either by explicitly stating so or posting text with her videos, that Professor Schofield participated in or was otherwise responsible for the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students, and that she did so because of her prior relationship with KG. In one video, she wrote the words Rebecca Schofield's thoughts as she ordered the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students. These people online are crazy. This is
Yep. We've been calling them out. We're only a small community. But this has been our focus for a long time, really since Chris Watts, not just on this channel, but on my other channel as well. You guys all know my obsession with social media impacting civil and criminal trials. So yeah, we may be small, but we've been plugging away at this too. That there are absolute lunatics on social media, and it's time some of them were called to account. And let's kick off with this one.
It's true. These people, I don't know how they would put themselves in this kind of risk. I don't know if it's mental health or what. 21, Gillard's November 28th, 2022 TikToks were not based on any facts or any information known to Gillard. Her statements that Professor Schofield ordered or in any way participated in the murders or that she was involved in a personal relationship with KG are false. 22. By November 28th, 2022, Gillard had been directly informed that her TikTok videos alleging that Professor Schofield was involved in the murders were false. Nevertheless, she continued.
Based on that, that she was directly informed that her videos were false, she probably got like a fairly sternly worded cease and desist. Something of those, along those lines. I don't know if it goes, I can't remember this part. I was just home and making dinner and stuff when this part was on. But it sounds like she'd been warned as well before they resorted to issuing this summons.
Continued posting her TikTok videos aware that they were false. In one TikTok video, she wrote, "I don't care what y'all say. JD and Rebecca Schofield killed." These people, I just, wow. Killed KGMMACXK. Rebecca was the one to initiate the plan and hire JD.
And how many of these sleuthies, these you sleuthers, have we been talking about in the last few months in particular that just go, I don't care? Even Ashley Banfield, when she was interviewing an expert, and one of the questions she asked, the expert gave a very logical, sensible response. And her response to that was, I don't care, and went off on another one of her rants feeding the sleuths. This is insanity. I mean, you couldn't write this. We're watching this, and people say to me, you know, why don't you just get off YouTube? Like, what's the fascination? Are you kidding me? There's no way I can walk away from this stuff. But the stuff that was happening on YouTube 4 years ago that we all thought was the worst it could possibly get, my God, the things we've seen since then. But this stuff is like, no one could have predicted. Well, I mean, maybe it could have been predicted, but not with this particular case. The crazies that have come out of the woodwork, and not just the crazies and the volume of them, but all of their loyal, idiotic followers. It's spreading quicker than COVID, for crying out loud. Beautifully put, J. Lord. She is the ringleader of disingenuous, unethical brainwashing. Society rot. She read her legal papers like she was shocked. She's something else. Guys, if this is live streamed, the watch parties are going to be epic. Epic. If this is streamed, I think we'll all be in Icked Mel's because, you know, got to go where the party is. But, wow. Imagine what it's going to be like. Gripping. I might have to take annual leave to stay up and watch it through the night.
23. On November 29, 2022, Professor Schofield, through Consul, sent Gillard a cease and desist letter informing her that her TikTok video stating that Professor Schofield was involved
stuff about the letter
in the murders or that she had a romantic relationship with KG were false and defamatory, demanding that she take down her defamatory videos, demanding that she cease making such videos, and demanding that she issue an apology to Professor Schofield. 24. Gillard did not stop posting defamatory TikToks, falsely stating that Professor Schofield was involved in the murders or that she had a romantic relationship with KG. 25. On November 29, 2022 and November 30th, Gillard posted additional TikTok videos falsely stating that Professor Schofield was involved in ordering and directing the execution of the murders of the 4 students. She was not. 26. Since December 1st, 2022, Gillard has continued.
What's that, J. Lord? Do you want to download all of the TikToks? I think other people will be on. Well, this law firm would already have them all downloaded for sure. And we've also got Icked Mel's live, where he went through, as you know, so many. Yeah, she might be. Although the fact that she's been served and then she went live saying, oh, look, I am being sued. Delusional. Absolutely. Like, if you want the definition of delusion, she's it.
Making false statements in her TikTok videos, falsely asserting Professor Schofield's involvement in the murder of the 4 University of.
Oh, and I just want to say too that, you know, there were a lot of people talking about mental health and so on, even Nick at Melly's. It kind of makes me sad when people who are just assholes and stupid and negligent like she is so blasé about all of this and doesn't care, like she said, and it's even quoted in the particulars of this claim. It really annoys me when people bring in the mental health thing and say, this is mental health, people, you're looking at it right now. She may not have any mental health issues at all. I mean, she's clearly got some sort of delusional issues, but it just bums me that when someone is just being reckless, is so full of themselves that they don't think they're doing anything wrong, they're falsely accusing someone of plotting the murders and another person carrying them out and so on. It kind of bums me when people go, oh, she's clearly got mental health issues, because it's not an accurate reflection of people with mental health issues. There are millions of people on the planet with mental health issues that would never do something like this. Like, her lack of ethics and morals does not mean she has mental health issues. She could just be a really big asshole. It's not fair to lump her in with people that are dealing with mental health, who live ethical, moral, decent lives, being good people. So, yeah, if you are watching this stuff unraveling around YouTube and people in chat are saying that she's clearly got mental health issues, it might be worth just dropping a comment like I did in Nick at Mel's, just saying that's not fair, because I'm not saying she doesn't have mental health issues, but don't tar everyone with a mental health issue with the same brush as what she's doing. Because the majority of people with mental health issues have ethics and morals and wouldn't dream of doing anything like this to innocent people. Yep, bad behavior is bad behavior. Lots of people have mental health and they don't behave like her at all. She might have, but it was disappointing to see so many people almost excusing her behavior because of mental health issues. She understood the cease and desist letter and ignored it. She visibly says in her TikTok videos that she doesn't care that the allegations are false, because she believes they are accurate and correct and true. She's coherent enough to be dismissive of this woman, Rebecca Schofield, who she's been slandering for weeks now. So I personally think she's also coherent enough to know the difference between right or wrong, and she does, and she's choosing to ignore it. We are all mental. True. Adderall isn't exactly a mood stabilizer. But the cockiness and the arrogance of this woman in the videos, you know, like, you can't watch them, and she's aware of so many things that are going on, including requests to stop doing it, and she didn't care and kept doing it. But then turn around and go, she has mental health issues, she doesn't know what she's doing. She does. Sometimes people are just shitbags. She might have a mental health issue and be a shitbag as well. But why can't we just say this person's a shitbag instead of explaining this behavior by saying she must have a mental health problem? Because like I said, most people with mental health issues would never do this to innocent people, ever. This person with a mental health issue, me, is very passionate about this. It's not okay. Don't tar everyone with the same brush. There are exceptions to every rule, and she's one of them.
Idaho students and falsely stating that Professor Schofield was involved in ordering the murders and was present in Moscow, Idaho to ensure they were carried out. She falsely stated, inter alia, that Rebecca Schofield is going to prison for the murder. Sounds like somebody I know. Rebecca Schofield is going to prison for the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, whether you like it or not, December 1st, 2022. And B, I'm not worried about Rebecca Schofield suing me. Sounds like somebody I know, because she will be using her resources to fight for murder cases. She ordered the execution and murders of KGMMXKEC December 1st. And then number C, that Professor Schofield's motive in ordering the murders and finding someone to carry it out was because she was dating a student, December 4th, 2022. D, Professor Schofield decided to kill the students because KG wanted to take a break in their relationship, December 5th, 2022. Letter E, Professor Schofield was going to help the person she hired to carry out the murders achieve the person's dream of playing on the University of Idaho tennis team.
There's the tennis stuff.
December 5th, 2022. F, JD killed the 4 students because Becca told me to, December 6th, 2022. And G, a reporter with the Spokesman Review newspapers was protecting the killer in the article suggesting the TikToks were false, December.
Just a reminder again, guys, Rebecca Schofield never met any of these students. So good to have you back, Plumey Plumey. Lovely to see you.
12, 2022. 27. As with Gillard's prior TikToks falsely stating that Professor Schofield was involved in or ordered the murders, Gillard's December TikToks had no basis in fact. They were false. Number 28. Persons with TikTok accounts can comment on a TikTok's posts of others they follow. Many TikTok users warned Gillard about her statements, that her statements were false and that she was defaming Professor Schofield, among others. Gillard did not stop making false and defamatory TikToks despite being warned of their falsity multiple times by persons commenting on her own TikToks. 29. Equally.
Hey, guys, I love this one. 29 is brilliant because this is the concern that we've had, is that it's not just these creators, it's also the followers who not only believe the bullshit they're hearing, but then spread it out in the wild. And I love that it's noted in here. It's not just about irresponsible creators. It's about irresponsible and ignorant subscribers and followers too.
Concerning, other TikTok users commented that they believe Gillard's false statements that Professor Schofield ordered the murder of KGMMXKEC, that Professor Schofield was romantically involved with the KG, and that they have wondered when Professor Schofield would be brought to justice. There's a bunch of nutty people out there that just believe anything. It's not even just these crazy people with a following. It's the people that just believe this stuff. You know, they just believe anything and they just go with anything. 30. On December 8th, 2022, Professor Schofield through Consul sent a second cease and desist letter enclosing the first and again demanding Gillard take down her defamatory post and that Gillard stop making defamatory TikToks. 31. Rather than change her conduct, Gillard made a TikTok showing the cease and desist letter, acknowledging that she received it and explaining that if Professor Schofield through Consul believed that Schofield was making false statements, Consul would need to file an actual legal document in federal court asking me to remove it. A judge will then determine if I need to remove it. 32. Also, after receiving the cease and desist letter, Gillard on December 18 and 19, 2022, posted more than 20 new TikTok videos.
20.
Wow. Falsely stating that Professor Schofield was involved with KG and that Professor Schofield's motive for the murders was to keep KG from making their relationship public. 33.
I've got to give Ikemel credit too. Like, he's reading this out super quick and barely taking a breath. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Groover, because I finished work, holidays began. I've had 2 mega pints of rum and I've nearly finished my 3rd. It would have taken me a lot longer to go through all of this stuff.
Gillard has continued to publish false statements about Professor Schofield on TikTok despite having no basis for making the statements and despite being notified numerous times that her statements are false. 34. Professor Schofield has never met Gillard. She does not know her. She does not know why Gillard picked her to repeatedly falsely accuse of ordering the tragic murders and being involved with one of the victims. Professor Schofield does know that she has been harmed by the false TikToks and false statements.
Just on that one too, because we went through all of the TikToks with Ik and Mel, she did explain, for those of you that have rolled in since I mentioned it earlier, she got a card, and I don't know if the card's called History, because she uses a very weird looking deck. Not weird, like weird, just different to your usual tarot deck, you know, with Wheel of Fortune and the Death card and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't remember if she said she had a card that's history or whether spirit told her the word history. But that was all it took for her to then go to the Idaho University website, look up the history department, and she found Rebecca Schofield's name. And that's where all of this started. It's batshit.
35. Gillard's false TikToks have damaged Professor Schofield's reputation. They have caused her significant emotional distress. She fears for her life and for the lives of her family members. She has incurred costs, including costs to install security cameras in a security system at her residence. She fears that Gillard's false statements may motivate someone to cause harm to her or her family members. 5. First claim for relief, defamation, false statements regarding murders. 36. Professor Schofield realleges and incorporates by reference all prior paragraphs of this complaint as set forth in full herein. 37. In her TikTok post between November 24th and present, Gillard made false and defamatory statements implicating Professor Schofield in the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students more than 40 times. 38. As Gillard's false statements involve criminal accusations, they are per se defamatory in nature. 39. Gillard knew her statements were false because she had no knowledge about anything happening in Moscow in and around November 13, except the tarot cards and the magic stuff. Gillard further knew her statements were false because they were not based on any facts, because persons commenting on her post told her they were false, and because Professor Schofield twice sent Gillard cease and desist letters regarding the false and defamatory posts. 40. Gillard's false TikToks defamed Professor Schofield because they were viewed millions of times and widely reposted by other TikTok users, resulting in Professor Schofield's name being linked to the murder in a basic internet search. As a result of Gillard's false statements,
Thanks, Plumy. I was talking. She does need to sack her spirit guides. They are very good. And hello, Hybrid Prices. And yes, I was just saying earlier that even this morning on my live, I was saying how a lawsuit might be what it takes, but it's going to need someone who's able to pursue a lawsuit. Less than 12 hours later, here we are. There's a lawsuit. And there have been deaths as well. My next Stop the Madness video is about unfortunate people who were targeted on social media. And the outcome of that is horrifying and terribly sad. Good to have you here, Hybrid Pisces. Thank you so much, Plumy. Muted warning. Yeah, thanks, Francesca. Hopefully you've got me now. I'm unmuted, man. I'm unmuted. There was something else I was going to mention too, though. The 2 cease and desist letters, I think I covered that already. But yeah, viewed millions of times and probably shared by so many people. Oh, this is the point I was going to make, which I hadn't actually got to when I was muted. In paragraph 40, this is another thing I constantly talk about. Now, if you go onto Google or any browser and type in Professor Schofield's name, she is now linked to murder. Talked about this so many times, like Kylie Rodney, all those kids whose lives now, if they meet somebody and they get romantically involved, there's a good chance that somebody's going to Google them. If they apply for a job, they're going to be Googled. If they want to go to college, they're going to be Googled. All the kids that are being put out there at the moment as murderers involved with the Idaho4, same story. And now we've got a lawsuit clearly stating that this is happening to Professor Schofield. You pop her name into Google and it's being linked to murder in a basic internet search. This is insanity. I'm not muted now, surely. Can you put a 1 in chat if you can hear me? Hey, Emily. I'm not muted. Can you guys hear me? Thank you, Emily. I know there's a bit of a delay in chat, but wow, you guys were still... I've been unmuted for ages. Blue. So you heard me talking about how the Google search, it's now happening to this woman as well. Hey, Kanga Blue. Plumey too. No, I'm totally unmuted. That is hybrid Pisces. It's hideous, isn't it? It's out there forever. But these internet sleuthers don't care until it happens to them or someone they love. And then we're not going to hear the end of it. All right, back to Ikard Mel.
Professor Schofield's reputation was injured, and she was subject to online ridicule and threats from Gillard's online commenters. She also fears that she or her family will be the target of physical violence. 41. The online nature of Gillard's false statements continues to harm and damage Professor Schofield. Gillard's TikTok account has more than 100,000 followers, and some of her TikToks defaming Professor Schofield have 2.5 million likes, indicating that the person has viewed the video and liked it. 42. Professor Schofield has been damaged by Gillard's false statements. Her reputation has been tarnished, and she has suffered extreme emotional distress.
2.5 million likes. Imagine how many of those 2.5 million have also shared it. It's absolutely devastating. And the worst thing of all, well, not the worst, because this is pretty bad for Professor Schofield, but once again, an irresponsible social media platform user is exploiting the deaths of 4 kids in doing this. She's exploiting their story. It's disgusting.
From the constant public attention and the ongoing online conversation regarding her role in the murders as falsely alleged by Gillard. And this is my first time even hearing about this situation tonight. Second claim for relief, defamation, false statements regarding relationship. 43, Professor Schofield realleges and incorporates by reference all prior paragraphs. And so 44, in her TikTok post between November 24th and the date of this complaint, Gillard made false and defamatory statements that Professor Schofield was or had been romantically involved with one of the murdered students, KG. 45, as Gillard's statements involve moral turpitude, a professor being involved with a student, they are per se defamatory in nature. 46. Gillard knew her statements were false because she had no knowledge about anything happening in Moscow, Idaho, or at the University of Idaho. She does not know the Professor Schofield and did not know KG. Gillard further knew her statements were false because they were not based on any facts, because persons commenting on her post told her that they were false, and because Professor Schofield twice sent the cease and desist letters regarding the false and defamatory posts. But Gillard continued thereafter to post additional TikTok videos with false statements. 47. Gillard's false TikToks defamed Professor Schofield because they were viewed millions of times and widely reported by other TikTok users.
And just a reminder too, for the new people that have rolled on in, we looked earlier at the legislation, because I went down that little rabbit warren and discovered that in Idaho, there's a little quirk with their defamation law, that even something that you infer can amount to defamation. An inference doesn't even have to be stated as fact. But if somebody implies but doesn't outright say something defamatory, you can sue them for that too. Now, this tweet, this TikToker, is blatantly saying it. But I found that really interesting, that even an inference you can sue. Oh no. Batten down the hatches, Canada. Oh God, and you've got all that running around to do right before Christmas, you poor thing. Back to
Gillard's
Mel.
false statements defamed Professor Schofield's professional reputation and career at the University of Idaho, as university policy prohibits faculty members from having romantic relationships with university students. As a result of Gillard's false statements, Professor Schofield's reputation was injured, and she was subject to online ridicule and threats from Gillard's online commentators.
Great. Yep. See, they've done it. The bloody, what did Humanimal call them? The repeaters. The repeaters have directly gone to her. People, we're not that great, actually. I mean, our community is fabulous. But there are so many shitty people on this planet. So many. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am so glad I'm in the second half of my life, because I couldn't handle 80 years of sharing this beautiful planet with so many shitty people. They're multiplying. It's terrifying.
48. Professor Schofield has been damaged by Gillard's false statements. Her reputation has been tarnished, and she has suffered extreme emotional distress from the constant public attention and the ongoing online conversation discussing the false relationship with a student as falsely alleged by Gillard. Number 6, attorney fees. 49. As a result of Gillard's conduct, Professor Schofield has been required to retain the services of Stoley Revis LLP. Plaintiff requests that she be reimbursed for all reasonable attorneys' fees and costs as permitted under federal and state law.
And that's where to get Ashley Gillard in the clacker. So it looks like she is funding it herself. And if the maximum fine that Ashley can have bestowed upon her is $5,000, you got no idea, kiddo, how much you're going to be paying in legal fees. That's where she's going to get absolutely reamed. Bring it on. We are, well, humans are definitely devolving as a species, except for in here. We're evolving. We're trying to spread goodness, morals, and ethics. There's a few people out there that will listen. I'm not giving up hope.
Number 7, prayer for relief. Professor Schofield prays for judgment in her favor against Gillard as well.
Hey, this is quirky, though. A prayer for relief. You won't see that in any Australian pleadings. She prays for judgment in her favor. In addition to the compensatory and punitive damages, attorney's fees, like I said, that's where she's going to really get Hit up, Ashley. Get ready. Also, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest, and whatever else the court deems equitable, just and equitable, including up to 6 months in jail. Isn't that weird? Prayer for relief. I wonder if in the defense documents, Ashley will pray to spirit and the cards, and that's so unusual. Never seen that. I mean, well, I have seen it before, but I've never commented on it before. The prayer for relief. Don't worry, Professor Schofield, you have a watertight case. I mean, pray if you wish to, but you really don't need to worry too much about this one.
As number one, compensatory and punitive damages in an amount to be proved at trial. Number two, attorney fees, costs, and disbursements incurred here. Number three, prejudgment and post-judgment interest. And number four, all such other relief as court deems just and equitable. Number eight, demand for jury trial. Ooh. Professor Schofield requests trial by jury of not less than 12 persons to all issues triable to the jury. Wow. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. Let me know what you think about this whole mess. Take care. Peace.
Mel, too many things at the end. You bumped him in too early. But that's all right. I'm going to drop his link again. Do go over there and give him a like. And like I said, if you... and a comment too, if you feel so inclined. And if you want to listen to the live he did tonight, which was where he premiered that video, and then we had a couple of hours of him going through all of her TikToks. It was pretty entertaining. Yeah. I hope she wins the max as well. She's going to put a spell on the judge and jury. Interesting going for a jury. Hopefully she doesn't get 12 you sleuthers on the jury. I'd go judge alone for this, because it's a lay down misere, really. I mean, she's done everything she possibly could, including the cease and desist letters. This woman has basically predicted that she might get sued and was bragging that she hadn't been served with anything. And then when she was, she put up another TikTok about, woohoo, I'm being sued. I don't care, she said. Yeah, I don't know that you could Mel Ryan up church stuff, but there's definitely a community of us out there. And I like that we're all in different time zones and countries and stuff talking about this. And there's a lot of people that are watching this stuff unravel that I never thought, because, you know, historically, if you look back at when some channels first started, they were kind of doing the same sort of sensationalist garbage and had a big following, and people were running around and spreading what they were saying as being factual and so on, that have now sort of done a bit of a 180, and they're now part of the community that's calling this stuff out. And it's good, like, good on them. You know, they've evolved as human beings. I mean, there's other creators on YouTube that are still doing the same shit they did 4 years ago, and they're a big fat yawn. But it's nice to see that some channels are changing and are realizing that what they might have thought was a bit of entertainment at the time is actually potentially incredibly damaging. So, but then these levels too, we haven't really seen before, like somebody on TikTok just blatantly stating over and over again that this poor professor was somehow involved in the murders. I mean, this is next level insanity. Up Chuck. I've heard so many variations of his name, up skirt, you name it. Never heard of him till Kylie Rodney. Never heard of his music. He's not big in Australia. I don't think he needs to tour here. I don't think he'll do very well. In fact, I think the only Australians who know about him are people that are on YouTube who followed Kylie Rodney. Agreed. The true crime community is comprised of some of the best people who I'm so grateful to have had opportunity to communicate with. So much potential. which the others overshadow. Yeah, look, there's diamonds in the rough, you know. They're out there if you go looking for them. And I'm really enjoying participating in chats and stuff because I'm connecting with people and having a bit of fun with them. It's nice to find like-minded people. And none of us think for a second we can change this. But the fact that people are doing commentary about it, sharing it to their communities, how big or small, you're now seeing a lot of people that are going into other chats and contributing in there as well. Like there's definitely a movement. And it's reassuring because it's just got so out of hand. It was out of hand with Chris Watts, but it's just got more and more ridiculous and more dangerous. Look, Upchuck's getting too much attention. So, yeah. Yep, chasing truth's good value for show. But then I was talking about a creator this morning who I wasn't planning on naming, but they were identified from the comments that I was making, who's very stuck on a theory and isn't budging from it. And it's surprising because historically they really did stick to the facts and prided themselves on that. And they do actually do a lot of hard work on their channel and a lot of original content, and they also do a lot of good for the community. But I had to unsubscribe because the last 3 or 4, maybe even more lives and videos is being hung up on that second grub truck footage and picking up a narrative that the girls were terribly concerned and this could be the key to it, and yet ignoring the fact that Kaylee's dad commented on that video and said it was just reassuring to see the girls out having fun on a Saturday night, you know, and ignoring the fact that someone who actually knew Kaylee better than anyone, her dad, and also knew Maddie unbelievably well too. She was like another daughter to them. That's just been completely ignored, and it's really boggling. Tony Macaroni, hello. It is a good camera. Thank you. I've had comments that the camera's good. So, yeah. Cheers. I don't know. Maybe it's probably not great because I've worked today and came home and went for a beach walk and got into the whole, oh, yay, finally someone's suing. I'm pretty feral right now. Yeah, so I actually unsubscribed because I was like, this is ridiculous. And you keep going on and on about it. And you're not, even though you're saying there could be other ways to interpret it, you're not actually considering the other ways. And you're not a 20-year-old college girl drunk on a Saturday night. And you never were. And if her dad isn't worried about it, why are you? Why are you reading so much into this? And then it sort of goes to my theory of, you know, can I get a red herring from the grub truck? Like the cops are so aware of all this online stuff. It'd be brilliant if they release that second bit of footage to get the sleuths all latching onto that, which they have, and they've been going live about for days and analysing every second of it as a bit of a red herring to get them like sharks feed on that for a while because you're messing with things. We keep asking you guys to all take a step back, calm down. We're investigating it. We've got the FBI with us. Notice how quickly everyone's criticising the Moscow PD, but no one's got the balls to say the FBI is stuffing it up, do they? Like, who's criticising the FBI? No one. Who's mentioning the FBI are involved? Very few people. It's so selective what they're feeding to their subscribers, who then take it out and spread it everywhere, not just on YouTube, but on Facebook groups and other social media platforms. It is wasting time, the LA's time, and that's why I think my theory that they deliberately released that second grub truck video, and it was released via a Facebook group, which is incredibly clever. If they've got some Poindexter hanging out in the Facebook groups, because they're monitoring, they're watching it. They have to. They have to. How do you think they caught Buggerlugs on TikTok doing what she's doing? And they're like, Professor Schofield, we hate to tell you this, but take a seat. Imagine that initial phone call and conversation. You'd be like, what? What? People on what? TikTok are saying I'm a murderer? It's unfathomably scary. And she's not the only one. We know that. There's so many innocent people that have already been put through this as well. It's ridiculous. But yeah, was that second little clip that the cops have known about for weeks, and so has Kaylee's dad, who wasn't remotely fussed about it. Was that a red herring to get them all scurrying over there just to quieten the social media noise down so the cops can keep doing what they're doing? If they didn't do it deliberately, they should have. Because it's brilliant, because there's so many channels crapping on about it. Like, well played. If you did it, if you chose to do that, all power to you. If you didn't, learn from it. It's what you need to keep doing. You need to start just releasing little snippets to distract the sleuthers. But some channels that I thought were pretty good at sticking to the facts, and speculating based on facts is fine, but they're hung up on this and keep thinking it's a big deal. Do you think that anything at the moment that's a big deal in this investigation is going to be given out to the public? No. It means nothing. It's irrelevant. I mean, it cleared Hoodie Guy, kind of, because Hoodie Guy's still being slammed, I've noticed. I think even that when we were watching and listening to all of those TikToks of Ashley who's been sued, I think she even threw Hoodie Guy under the bus a couple of times. But it's really good to sort of watch this as an observer, a keen observer, but still have one foot, like have one foot in the circle, in the arena, watching what's going on, and then have another foot out, like in the seats way up the back, where you're kind of not close enough to really be invested in the game. You're distracted all the time, and you're looking at things slightly differently, and other things are coming into your thought processes as well. Because, yeah, I don't think the second grab truck video really has any relevance at all. And if the cops deliberately put it out there to distract the sleuthers, well, good on you. Smart move, because it's worked. Yeah, Summer, I mean, we're never going to know what happened to her, I don't think. Do you guys agree that the loss of reality TV and soap operas has added to this obsession with true crime, turned it to crama? People are bored and innately drawn to gossiping about others. There's no shortage of reality TV happening in Australia, but a lot of it's coming from overseas as well. But what upsets me, Hybrid Pisces, is they're not true crime. Like OG true crime was, here are the facts that we know. We can speculate on those. But other than that, we can talk about cases that might be similar. You know, it might remind you of a similar case. A bit like when I did my, is this a serial killer at play with Idaho4? Because it just kept ringing little bells of, you know, Bundy and Danny Rowling. And that sort of stuff was fine too in OG true crime. What these people are doing is not true crime. It's sleuthing, and it's reckless sleuthing. Bad sleuthing. fake sleuthing. And I think a lot of podcasts that started out doing true crime like drew in these audiences, because even I keep forgetting the name of the show, but there's a TV series with Martin Short, Steve Martin, and who was the chick that went out with Selena Gomez, and it's pitched as 3 true crime fans that live in an apartment building in New York, and there's a murder. But interestingly, they sleuth it. They sleuth the murder. That's not OG true crime to try and solve the case. You go online now and you see people going, we're going to solve this. We're going to find out who the killer is. They genuinely think they know more than the cops, and they're going to solve it on the 5 or 10% of information we're being fed. Tell them they're dreaming, because they are. I think it's really good to get the public to help with like looking for the Elantra, that sort of stuff. The more people that are looking, the better. Getting the public to help with some things, brilliant. It's been done for centuries. It's not something that's being done just because of this new true crime crowd. The police have often asked the public to help in investigations. But I think they're going to really have to start monitoring what information is put out there. And yeah, back to that second grub truck video, walking to the grub truck. If that was done deliberately by the cops to distract the sleuthers, then it was a great idea. I particularly love how everyone criticizes the Moscow police for not doing this or that. Yeah, just because they haven't updated them on it doesn't mean exactly. And I think everyone just needs to remember, 5%, maybe 10% is what we know. And we're not entitled to know more than that. And I think over time, because of what's happening now, less and less information is going to be put out. There might be cries for the public to help. But unfortunately, all the PDs around the world, no matter what case or crime it is, will then be criticised like these ones are for, they're doing a lousy job and it's going cold. It's not going cold. Research cold cases, you idiots. I mean, there's people still saying, I don't know why the girls downstairs didn't hear screaming. They still haven't visualised the reality of these murders. Very easy to stop someone from screaming if you put the knife in the right place. It's not that hard. Logic can come into play with the facts and the info that we have. If you're going to speculate, you use a bit of logic in that, using the facts. It's absolutely insane. I do too, Hybrid. That's why I can't stop watching all of this. It's like my favorite thing to do. I mean, I watch in horror while doing it, while following it all, the psychology of it all, but also the legal part of social media impacting trials, civil and criminal, is an area of law that I've been very into for a long time. And I've found a course that I want to do, a postgraduate to my law degree. I just have to save up a lot of dollars to do it. It's crazy expensive. But I'll be there. I'll be doing it. There's a lot of stuff on this channel about it, and there'll be lots more. And for those that aren't interested in it, you'll probably find my channel really boring after a while, because it is my obsession. There's a lot LA aren't sharing with the public. It's amusing the level of entitlement people have about knowing intimate details. Yeah. Yep. Entitlement. That's like a pandemic as well, isn't it? Kathleen O'Rourke, hello. Good morning from frozen, blustery Arctic Michigan. Just finding you yesterday. Xana's family mailed out 5,000 flyers. I just saw that not long before I started watching the It Could Mel Live. And Kathleen, I think you put some comments under my was it you who put some comments about the dude that got arrested in Moscow, and you made the comment about what was his alibi? Was he at the salon? That cracked me up. Good to have you here. First reminded you of Richard Speck. Yeah, that's another name that's been thrown. Didn't actually know that case as well as the other ones. They've made true crime truly criminal. They have. Well, look, I feel sorry for you all freezing because it's summer here. We've actually started to get finally some summer weather. I think also retired police detectives that talking gossip, finding a glove, finding a Twitter account that is Brian Laundrie. I agree. Yeah, I agree, Plumey. Absolutely. Because the glove wasn't there. That was not there. Like someone dropped a glove and people have latched onto. There's a lot of people on Twitter that are hung up on the glove. Can't believe it took a retired cop to find this crucial piece of evidence. It's not a crucial piece of evidence. They've got the O.J. Simpsons with the glove. It's turning the characters, families, friends, neighbours into fodder for gossip, dramatically adding to the trauma elicited by the perp in any given crime. Beautifully said, Hybrid Prices, as sad as the content of what you've said is, but yeah, it's so true. I mean, the problem with the former cops and stuff is they're automatically given credibility because of their careers in LA. And, you know, and I do say frequently, like, although I was a criminal lawyer, I'm not an expert on a lot of the stuff that I comment on either. But they are given a lot of credibility. Pardon me. But then you see two different shows with two different retired cops with very different points of view because they're speculating like everyone is and they're interpreting things differently. And so the followers in that one channel, they're taking everything as fact because it's an ex-cop, it's a retired cop. And then the others in the other one are taking what's been said as fact. So there's not this sort of critical thinking of listening to different points of view and just going, yeah, that makes sense, or I hadn't even thought of that angle, that's interesting, or that's not what I was thinking at all. You know, like to just listen to stuff and take it at fact is so ridiculous. Like, we've got brains. And your brains continue to grow if you continue to learn and if you're open to listening to different points of view and analysing them based with the facts and where your hunch might be or your logic. I mean, it's not uncommon for me with cases as they're being investigated to shift the way I feel about things. But then there are other ones like Chris Watts that right from the start, he did it, no doubt about it. And I didn't budge from that. And I'd be listening to people going, you know, all their wackadoo theories, and I'd be like, you're dreaming, that's ridiculous. This one, my hinky meter didn't start spinning, but I haven't really covered serial killers, which was the only tiny inkling I've got. And I'm still, there's no more information that's come out since I postulated, could that be the case? Because the longer it goes without them finding, or like without them announcing they've arrested a suspect, the more I feel like it's someone totally disconnected to them. I feel like they've been so thorough and they've had no choice, but the number of people they've had to interview and all the stuff going in Moscow and everything else, like my feeling is this guy's long gone. He got the hell out of Dodge. That's, and it's not even a strong hinky meter feeling because there's just not that much information. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm glad. Imagine how worse it would be if we had more info. My God, the damage they're causing on the limited amount we do know. Yeah, well, Jules of Thought spent a lot of time you gotta be careful how I pitch this. She honed in on Jack S and looked into his family history and profiled him essentially with her psychology skills, experience, and said some pretty scathing stuff. And then the new Grub Truck video came out and she had an opportunity to offer an apology, but she just said she got it wrong and moved on to somebody else, and that disappointed me. And I don't listen to a lot of her, but I'd heard enough about her critiquing every element of Jack S's world and pretty much inferring that he was the most likely suspect. And then just sort of said, oh, I got it wrong, we all make mistakes, and then went straight on to her next theory. And that disappointed me, because I think she's got a lot of people following her, and she's got a responsibility to call off the hunt and say to her subscribers, this was a really, it seemed like a logical, plausible theory, but it's wrong. So everyone back off. Like, if you're still going down that road, I sent you all down, because she was very convincing in that live. I feel like you've got to put a bit more into shifting your point of view, and explaining to your subscribers that one is now, back on the shelf. But back off if you're taking it away from my channel and causing havoc. In fact, go out of your way to reiterate that the second grub truck video pretty much clears him for, not being this weird, creepy dude who I never got a bad vibe from him in the original video, because I'm always aware that a snippet of video, we're not seeing what happened right before or after it. You can't conclude anything from a tiny snippet unless there's literally someone standing in front of a victim going, you're about to die, and they shoot them. That sort of clip, yeah, okay. But that wasn't what the grub truck video was. But yeah, I feel that it's, humility is a very attractive trait in people, and I feel that she could have, with the number of subs that she's got, probably, maybe she did. I don't know. I didn't see the whole live. I was curious to see how she addressed the previous live. And personally, I don't know if she has or not, but if I went down that road, which I never will, of just focusing in on somebody like that, and I'm not saying she shouldn't do it. It's I need to get a drink in a second. It's her thing. It's her skill, her qualifications to hone in on people like that. But I'd take the video down too, or the live, if they are essentially cleared by, not by the cops, but by footage showing that they all arrived at the food truck together and he wasn't this weird dude that had been stalking them. I'd probably take it down. I would take it down. I'm not boring, Joey? Well, I feel like I was just then. As long as you drink your rum, you're not boring. I'm not having another one. 3 rums. Woo, my holidays have kicked off. It's probably more rum than I've drunk all year, to be honest. I don't drink much, but I'm on holidays, so Death Row guy. Yeah, the audio was really bad with that interview. I couldn't, I need to listen. I haven't listened to all of it, but I found it really hard to, I think I might have been driving and I couldn't really hear what he was saying. Yep, cold cases, missing people cases, absolutely. Absolutely. If they're such great investigators, I say this all the time, if they're so good at investigating, how come the FBI hasn't employed them yet? Continuing education is very important. God, I'm way behind in chat. Jules is doing to Jeremy, the neighbour, what she did to Shane Carey. Yeah. Yeah. But, look, everyone has their channels that they enjoy watching and so on. I just think take everything, including what I'm saying, with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not right necessarily. There are some, I try to stick to facts. And I do stick to the facts of a case, but I don't do the sensationalism and stuff like that. But there might be things that I'm wrong on too. Grain of salt, all of us. I'm not, pardon me, I will need to get a drink, a glass of water. I'm not saying or sensationalizing or anything like that, but I might cite a section of legislation and then I get it wrong and it was a different section, or I definitely got the wrong names in a live a few weeks ago because there were just so many jacks going on. But yeah, it's up to you guys where you go and what you enjoy for sure. And also, some creators are really great with one case and terrible with another, you know, like they're not going to be brilliant at everything they do. And there, like I said, there's a creator that I'm a bit disappointed with the constant hung up on this second video thing, and it's kind of gone down a road they've proudly maintained they'd never do. And there they are down that road. I might go back when they stop talking about the second video, but until then, Thank you, Joey. You don't think, yeah, they weren't friends with the killer. Me too. I mean, of course, you know, when someone's arrested, let's talk about it. But my gut instinct is this person's long gone and has been for weeks, if not, you know, within an hour of doing it, was out of there. I mean, you don't have to drive very far to cross the border into another state. That's right, Kega Blue, and they've got to get a really solid case so they can get a conviction. You don't want this prick walking free because they didn't have a strong enough case. Oh, you rest up, Emily. I hope you feel better soon, you poor thing. Didn't get into that you're talking Debbie Collier. Didn't get into that story. Doing life my way. We already have a PPO in this. What's a PPO? Hi, Doing Life My Way. I don't know if you're still here. I think I'm way behind in chat. What's a PPO? We don't know. I agree. However, humility is a thing for show. I mean, that's what, you know, I keep mentioning all these people that have been called out for stuff, or Ashley Banfield interviews an expert and they answer and their response is, I don't care. I'm like, what? When did this happen? You've actually just elicited factual, proven, peer-reviewed, verified information out of an expert and your response is, I don't care? Are you crazy? And all the sleuths are watching that, and everything that came out of that expert's mouth is forgotten because Ashley doesn't care, so they're not going to care either. I will do a live about the media reporting as well, because that, whoa, holy hell. So many channels feeding the sleuths. It's what bizarro, warped world have we all woken up in? It's making me feel old. It's making me feel old and sensible and reasonable. None of the things these young folks seem to want. In fact, not even young. There are people my age and older that are buying into all of this BS. In fact, I think there's more people that are my age or older, especially female, that are really the meddlers. Like my analytics for my channel. Let me get onto my channel. Just so you know, my audience makeup. I love what you see channels your audience watches. And I'm like, really? Interesting. Like it lists all the channels you people watch. Who watches the Drunk Turkey Show? Come on, own up. But when it's people that I'm like, ooh, oh, if it's a channel that I'm like, oh, they're one of the bad ones, I'm like, who's watching? Which ones of you people? But my top geography, 65.8% are in the US, 6.7% in Australia, 3.9% in the UK, 3.1% in Canada, and 0.5% in South Africa. Look at this. Watch time from subscribers, 42%. Nearly 58% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed. It's free. If the 58% that don't subscribe now, I'd have 1,000 subscribers. We'd be able to sponsor the floofs on this channel, not the one that's stuck in the algorithm cul-de-sac of doom. Age and gender, 76.8% female, 23.2% male, and user specified no percent. But then if you go to the age room, so I've got nearly 77% female. And then if you go to the biggest age range for me, it's 45 to 54 years, 26%. And then 55 to 64 years is 25.1%. And 65 plus is 12.2%. And if you add those all up, it's a bigger group than the 44 years and younger. I've got 2.3% in 18 to 24 years. How groovy am I? But yeah, so there's way more women on my channel, but it's pretty consistent on YouTube generally. So the bulk of them are women in their 50s, 60s, and possibly 70s that are in all these sleuthing channels doing all this damage. These are grandmothers. We've got Beryl back over in 4chan with all of her buddies. Driving and listening. Drive safe. Yeah, look with I mean, people keep one creator doesn't have it all down pat on everything. Absolutely. And I know that there's probably plenty of lives I've said stuff that you guys are all like, where's she coming from that angle for? Like, what's she doing? But I wouldn't expect you to agree with everything I said, because that would just be like my ex who did my head in. Not that I wanted us to fight, but I was like, you insipid drip. Not my last ex, he was wonderful. The one before him, what a knob. It was just tiring. Just disagree with me about something, please. But a lot of people are accusing the cops in this case for mucking things up. And just because there are cases, and I don't know enough about Delphi to say emphatically whether or not they did stuff it up, that I can talk about Susan Neil Fraser in Tasmania, where the cops definitely stuffed it up. Azaria Chamberlain, well, Lindy Chamberlain, the Azaria Chamberlain story. It doesn't necessarily mean just because the Moscow PD haven't announced the arrest of the suspect yet that they've stuffed it up. And I'm seeing that happening a lot on the YouTubes as well. They're citing other cases that are notorious for being screwed up, and Delphi is one that keeps popping up, but I don't know enough about it to say whether it was or wasn't. But every case is different. You can't do that. Like, you can compare a case to another because it might have similar circumstances and so on. But why aren't people saying, yeah, but while the cops do stuff up some cases, look at how many they get right? Why aren't you commenting on that? See, this is the look at both sides of things, people. The cops have got it right way more times than they've fucked it up, in my opinion. That's why our jails are full to overflowing. But nobody mentions that. It looks like the cops have fucked this one up too, just like they did with Delphi. Yep, I agree. It's fucked up. It's all fucked up. They fucked it up. What about all the cases they've got right? Way more than the ones they've fucked up, in my experience, from what I've seen out in the wild. Oh, personal protective order. Now I'm even more confused. All your chat. No, I don't get individuals. I just get your subscribers also watch these channels. Kanga Blue. I've got to catch up. Let me scroll right down. I'm way behind. I'm so sorry, guys. You have 5% women watch you, Joey. 12%? Since I've never provided YouTube with any identifying information, how can they possibly assign me a slot in the analytics? Maybe they haven't. Yeah, have an opinion. Insipid drip. Oh, no. It just, no, I wasn't saying that, Joey. It just made me, no, I wasn't. I would have addressed you directly and gone, come on, Joey, what do you want? No, it just reminded me to mention that because that's another thing that's been said all over the joint. Oh, I've caught up. 2 hours and 13 minutes. Hybrid mentioned earlier, although I don't know. Hybrid, are you still here? I'm worried about Hybrid Pisces in the storm, but also did Hybrid bail when I said I was a bit disappointed with how Jules handled. Oh, no. These Idaho kids come from wealthy families, many anyways. People should probably pay. I think they should too. But I think you mentioned something earlier too, just about victims and so on. And I thought I might. Oh, actually, no. Look, Kathleen O'Rourke's kicked it off. Your top 3. Hard to narrow down to your top 5. The Interview Room, Judy Ron, Body Language. Oh, I don't know body language. Nancy Grace, News Nation, a few of the Psychics, Law and Crime, too much. Food Truck Vid. Oh, Food Truck Vid put these poor kids on the map. Yes. I know a lot of those channels. A simple level of communication between agencies at the very beginning of the Delphi investigation would have locked that guy up 5. Okay. Yeah, and at least they have got him now. I agree. Better late than never. I'm a very big fan to Joey's channel. Her channel is so very interesting and she is fun. She's a hoot. Oh, you're making coffee. Oh, you've subbed finally, Symmetry. It's about bloody time, mate. Still here to make coffee. Oh, yeah, I'd want one too, although it's nearly 11 p.m. Better not. I do need to get a glass of water. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm happy to keep chatting if people are in the mood, but I do need to go to the loo and also grab a glass of water. And I thought because of a comment that Hybrid made earlier, and some of you guys may not have seen this, and it's very self-indulgent of me, but it's a perfect length for an intermission, I think. It gives everyone time to go to the loo, grab a drink, have a ciggy. I really want to have a ciggy. Regroup, because it's about 7 minutes. And when I did breakfast radio, we had to do all of that in like 3.5 minutes. We had to be out, quick go to the loo, then you had to go down all these stairs to get out onto the street, have your quick ciggy, get back up before the song ended to go live again. So we'd put songs on like Copperhead Road that went for 13 minutes. Well, no, American Pie went for 13. I think Copperhead Road's about 7. So I'm going to play because it was a comment that you made, Hybrid Pricing. Oh, I've got a new subscriber. We were up to 503. Yay. It's a video that I made, but it's a bit on topic with what you mentioned. And I thought, yeah, there might be people in the chat that are not familiar with it, but it's about social media impacting trials, and I'm looking at every angle on this channel too. Like I'm doing different. You're really cross with him. I am too. Poor Duty Ron. I can't remember which is the newer. Oh yeah, Alice's Restaurant. That goes forever too. I can't remember which one is the right one to play. So this may be the one that I then re-edited and sorted it out and tidied it up a little bit. But it's our intermission. But for those of you that are happy to just hang out and watch it, I will be doing lots of these, but different angles each time. But this particular one is about how social media impacts the partners, family, close friends of victims of murder or abductions, and just how social media is interfering. So yeah, I'm going to whack on my Stop the Madness video and call intermission, and I'll see everyone back here in 7 minutes.
The Laundry home has been under siege since Gabby Petito's homicide and Brian's disappearance.
Come out! Come out and cooperate with the demand answers! Where is your son?
Constant protests have the whole street on edge, and it finally reached the boiling point after one neighbor had a meltdown, accusing a protester of trespassing.
Just into the WSAV newsroom, the Chatham County Police Department issuing this statement about protesters outside the Simon home. Many of the people claiming to want justice for Quinton have turned his tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus, and they have made it impossible for the people who live in the area to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their homes. This is unacceptable, and it has to stop.
What would you tell those people? I mean, I know some of them might watch this or post this on the internet tonight. What would you tell them?
Like I've been telling them for the longest time, just stop. Please just stop. Get on with your lives. Leave ours alone. You know, we can't grieve. It's just a nonstop thing. They know who they are. We have a lot of YouTubers out there that are, I'll mention YouTubers, and they are backing us. But there's a lot out there that are just terrible.
Throughout the ordeal, you both were subjected, and we discussed it actually here on the Today Show, of this pretty vile trolling from people on the internet, particularly you, Jake. Can you tell us, bearing in mind that it is breakfast TV, what that was like for you and how you handled it?
I pretty much tried to stay off social media. Didn't read into too many of them, but there was a lot.
What hurt
kind
most,
of like
Ellie?
we knew the truth. I think, like, for me personally, and going through our lives, like, claiming that it was Jake, and I know how much Jake has stepped up to be Cleo's dad, and how much he is Cleo's dad. Like, for people to then accuse him because he is a stepdad, that was hard for me.
In closing, I want to thank our media friends for respecting our request to give us privacy while we celebrate my daughter today. Unfortunately, the social media frenzy has become such a monster that our teens are suffering, and we want to create a safe space for them to heal together without fear of something being taken out of context. To anyone who gains pleasure or satisfaction from commenting online, I ask you to take a moment to look inward and to try to recognize your motive. Remember the 3 gates that all words should flow through: Is it kind? Is it true? Is it helpful? I implore you to remember that there is honor in silence and there is kindness in minding your own business.
People online have just been ruthless. They went through and gone through all of my social media history over the past decade, just trying to find anything and everything they can about me, pulling up Facebook posts from my mom from a decade ago saying, oh, he was a hunter back in 2012. He must have done it just because a psychic had done a reading and said that it was probably a hunter, even though almost everyone in Idaho hunts at some point. And so they've just been digging into anything and everything they can find about my personal life and trying to somehow link it back to this.
This is the worst thing we'll ever go through in our lives. I've been really humbled by the support of the Australian public, the tireless efforts of the police, and all the friends and family who've put their lives on hold to help us out. And while I really appreciate all the support, I just would like to mention that negative comments on social media may hurt legal proceedings, so please be mindful of that.
The yard that they're digging up right now, the woman is being charged with not reporting the death of a child.
Oh, honey.
And thank you for putting that out on the internet before our family was informed, because they were trying to protect us and they're trying to make sure, because there's two people involved.
Oh my God.
They're trying to tie the case together. So thank you so much for putting that out there before they could tell us. Thank you. You have no idea what you've done to our family right now. You have no idea.
I was muted so you didn't hear me go to the loo. Yeah, it's very cruel, and it's just getting out of hand. And maybe this lawsuit is the thing that we all need. It's horrible that I've got water now and I've been talking too long. I think it might be time to call it a night, Groovers. Look, it's horrible that Rebecca's going through this and her husband and family and friends. Oh, thank you, Emily. I thought you'd seen it before. There'll be more. That's the first one. I'm working on one now, which is really, really sad. I mean, that one's terribly sad. But people who've actually ended their lives because of being falsely accused of being murderers, primarily on social media. And there's a comment above too that, Ruth's comment, they never seem to care about the friends and siblings, relatives, grandparents, never any apologies. And they're real people that are going through the worst thing imaginable. The worst thing imaginable. I mean, Tom Ma is standing there outside the courthouse in Melbourne, in Victoria, Australia. His beautiful wife, Jill's been murdered. And he's asking people on social media to be careful of what they say because it could impact the investigation and ultimately lead to a conviction. Like, he shouldn't have to even address that. He should just be allowed to grieve. These people get thrust into the media spotlight because the worst thing imaginable's happened to them. And when you've got them begging people on social media to be mindful of what they say, and people on social media ignore that, how can you call yourselves true crime? Where victims do matter in the OG true crime world, it was all about justice for victims. That was everyone's focus. So everyone was cautious and responsible and waited for information if they were following a case as it was being investigated, or they put their time and energy into talking about cold cases and missing people. It was about seeking justice for victims. This whole new population who think that they're true crime are so far from it. The victims are the last thing they think about, if they think about them at all. And it's disheartening to see so many people buying into this. And it's disheartening that that true crime genre is no more. There are still genuine true crime. I mean, look at people like Mike, that chapter, Stephanie Harlow, people that are telling stories about cases as they happened and reporting on the facts of that story. That's OG true crime. But this new crowd, and it's a huge crowd, they're nothing to do with OG true crime. The victims are not forefront in their minds at all. And they should be. It's all become heartless and plain nasty. When did we lose our humanity and ability to empathise? Not all of us, of course. Yes, present company excluded. I don't know when it happened. I really felt with COVID the first year, like 2020, and how everyone was self-isolating and following what was happening around the world and getting online and doing Zoom meetings and chatting with people all over the world and using social media platforms like YouTube. I could see goodness that came out of that, as well as the horror of what was happening. Like, to me, it was like we're realizing, you know, that the world is a small place and we've all got the same stories, and we're watching people in countries all over the world, unfortunately, all going through this horrible experience together. And I felt a sense of closeness and connection. I also identified two types of people, really. There's two types of people on the planet. There's the I wants, and they're the ones that were, well, I wanted to go to Queensland to meet my newborn grandchild, but now I've got to fucking self-isolate because of the COVIDs. Those people, and there were millions of them. And then there were the we needs, and the we needs are us. They're the people on the planet that went, right now, for the good of the planet and our communities, I'm just going to be a reasonable person and do what I'm being asked to do. And I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to put what I want to one side. This is time for us to rally together as a community and look out for each other, care about each other. And I thought that was a beautiful thing, because I think there were some people that became we needs who abandoned the I wants. Like, I saw that happening, and it was a beautiful thing. You know, and we also got to see the planet healing and recovering from all the crappy things we've done to it, and animals flourishing. There was a town in, I'm not sure if it was Scotland or Wales. I think it was Wales, and they were all in lockdown, and the goats were on the loose in the town, and all the trees and plants and flowers were in full bloom because there were no cars on the road and no pollution to compete with. And these goats were just trashing the town and eating all the prized rose bushes out of people's front yards. And it was beautiful. There were good things going on. And then I don't know what happened. But this stuff that's happening now is, Sunny's got the zoomies. Where's Sunny? Hopefully she'll do some. Where's Sunny? I'll try and get her to do a little specky back through here. Sunny. She wants me to run down there and chase her back. Thank you, Plumey. Well, sorry, Scout, just said that you wanted to see our beautiful Sunny. Sunny is running amok right about now. 11 people watching. I know, 10 years ago. It's crazy, isn't it, Kangaroo? 11 people watching and Taurus telling the truth. Nobody wants the truth on here. There's a few TC channels I'd love to see taken down. Yeah. CD Analysis of a Crime is a retired Leo who mainly follows Delphi. He's an amazing guy. Wants to help change the course of this community. He reminds that real detectives follow evidence. Great. And so that's the thing. There's clip what and make it a short. Which bit, Joey? There are people out there that are happy to just chat. And I know that I'm preaching to the converted. I know that you guys all agree. Like, yeah, we're all here. We're all of the same mindset. I still hope that, well, we've got lovely Kathleen in here in chat. Gradually people are coming in and we're all finding each other and connecting, and it's lovely. It's lovely. Yeah, CD Analysis of a Crime. Yeah, I only care about me versus I care about others. Did Sunny drink some rum? She'd probably be asleep if she drank some rum. Globalism hasn't helped. Smaller communities typically care for their own. Absolutely. There was a brilliant show on SBS, I think, or ABC in Australia, God, close to 20 years ago, looking at population and the ideal size of cities. And interestingly, Hobart's 250,000. And they said that once a city gets to 250,000, when it gets bigger than that, that's when people become way more private, less inclined to, Sunny, what are you doing? Have you got the Zooms? You might get a shot of her soon, Scout. She's coming back through. But yeah, people become more private and more housebound. And one of the quotes was, now I've got to try and get it right. In the US, in 1 year, people buy enough fences, like high fences, to go around the world 3 times. Just talking about how these cities get so big that people, the bigger the crowd, the more people want to just be on their own. And yeah, they in the States, and this was like 20 years ago, people bought enough fencing in 1 year to go around the world 3 times. I've never forgotten it. It was really interesting. Adam Spencer hosted it. I need to find it. It was so interesting. Yeah, all the Venice water. That was beautiful, wasn't it? And yeah, the singing. Yeah, there was all these. Yeah, there were so many beautiful things. You have been here forever and you can lurk away. I can't. Sunny. I wish I had a treat or something up here for it. Sunny. I've got Christmas treats over there. No, they need a dish. Sunny. She doesn't come when I call, by the way. Come and say hello. Woogie, do you want a treat? I tried to bribe her with a treat, but she knows she has to go to the kitchen for a treat. She's heading off to the kitchen. Come back. I always want to be on my own in beautiful places with beautiful people, just observing though. Yeah, the fencing thing was really interesting. And in the process, we're impeding the travels of our animal kingdom with fences and highways. Yes. Hey, sweet dreams, Serenity Bee. Have a beautiful Christmas with your beautiful family. Thank you so much for popping in. So always lovely to see you, beautiful girl. You know I love you. I'm on holidays till the 16th, so maybe we should have a chat with a glass of wine soon. Yeah, well, I used to call it the anti-social media. I was going to do channel, the Anti-Social Media Network. I thought that was so clever. And then I Googled it, and there's documentaries and stuff called the Anti-Social Media Network or Anti-Social Media. Oh, I'm not getting Sunny. She's Sunny. Hang on. She won't be happy with me, but she'll get a treat as soon as I end this live. Oh no, I'm not picking her up. She's cleaning her bits. She's been to the loo. That's why she's got the zoomies. I was going to pick her up, but she's busy tidying herself like a lady. Let me get a photo of her from today, Scout. Oh, yesterday. Surprise, surprise. Guess where she is? It'll focus. There's your girl. That was her yesterday, just living the dream on her ottoman. She's a funny little floof. I have so many photos of her, but they were all of her passed out on that ottoman. Will that do? I know, the floofy belly that she does let me rub. It's not a trap, but well, it is. I can rub it for a little while, but yeah, she's got a very floofy belly. It doesn't make a difference with my phone. I've tried that before, Joe. Like when you show a ring or something, it works, but because it's actually the reflection off the screen. And it did focus briefly, but yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Well, I don't think it does. I've tried that before, and I was like, it's probably because it's a big item, but it's a much crisper photo. There we go. I pushed it closer. There's the mugger. But yeah, she's tidying herself still. She's very thorough. She spends, I don't know, sometimes 10 minutes in the bathroom just burying stuff. Anyway, Groovers, the Hollywood model cat. She is a glamazon. See, why does this happen? Now more people are rolling in and I'm about to say goodbye. Big shout out to my new 4chan buddies. Thanks for your comments under my videos. Some of them are hilarious. There was one today that was absolute gold. In fact, I'll read it to you, Groovers, and then I'm out of here. Actually, I'll have it up here. It'll be easier to read it on my big screen. So, yeah, the lawsuit. We said that might be what it would take for things to change. I am very sad that someone's had to go through, like Rebecca Schofield has had to go through this for her to have to sue. But that being said, is that what we need? Like, will that make the difference? Will there be a precedent set that might make me think? Is this the one that has the... Oh, where's it gone? Yeah, the one who calls me a dude, not nice. Looks like they've deleted it and it was hilarious. Although they've edited it. They have edited it. I wish I'd taken a screenshot. Oh, wait, is it a different one? Hang on. There's a lot. Oh, I wonder if it's still in my emails. I want to read it to you because it's funny. No, they edited it. Oh. God damn it. It was funny. It listed so many different theories, and it had all these different initials of people that are being accused and so on, and then it just every now and then there'd just be something random in there. In the middle of it all there was Crocodile Dundee, and it made me laugh my head off. They've cropped it out. That sucks. I wish I got a screenshot of that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, and yeah, we're maybe a step closer to some of the madness, maybe not stopping, but it'll certainly, I think, slow it down. If it makes some people just stop and think, it's a start, because it's absolutely crazy. So I will be back tomorrow, so I'll be able to wish you all a proper Merry Christmas. I'm heading off to bed. I've already got a little hangover from those 3 runs. I'm a lightweight these days. That's what burnout does to you. Place to come is always open. Poor Aussies have a white wine in the sun for me, even though I don't drink. Well, I'm all about the water. But yeah, if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope everyone has a really relaxing, fun Christmas. Not too many fights. Sorry, I'm being a bit sarcastic. I hope it's nice and chilled out for you. I do. For those of us in countries that celebrate Boxing Day, enjoy. Sunny's birthday on Boxing Day. So I might have to go live so you can all sing happy birthday to her. And yeah, just keep being good people. It doesn't take much at all. Hit the like button on your way out. And until next time, don't get hit by, don't get struck by a smooth criminal. See you, everyone.
Chegou a baixa. So she ran into the bedroom, she was down.